The other day, I posted this on Twitter. I basically was asking everyone for their 6 to 8 player board game recommendations, and you all gave me a ton of amazing titles. Some games I already had, like Phantom Ink and Monikers, but I really wanted something a lot heavier than those two. And then that's why I went to Barnes & Noble, and many of you might have seen their crazy sales. If you don't know what Barnes & Noble is, well, they are a book and board game store. Huge bookstore. I went there specifically for one game. I honestly didn't really care too much about the sales because I just had a huge culling, right? I got rid of half my games and my shelves were empty, and honestly it was pretty nice. But as a wise person once said, you have empty shelves so you can fill them up again with even more games. And that's the advice I took. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Wolf Pack. Now I went to Barnes & Noble the other day because I was looking specifically for one game, and that was 7 Wonders. I went there for 7 Wonders and I came out with much more than that. But if you know the channel long enough, then you know, well, what's new, Tim? What's new? So like I said, I went there for a classic title because I totally forgot that this plays at a higher player count, 7 people in fact. And that is for 7 Wonders. This game is definitely one of like the group of games that really got me into the hobby. Amazing engine builder, classic game that I never owned. And that was because my cousin owned it, so I never had a reason to own it since we just played her copy anyways. I remember playing this like on New Year's Day up to like 3 to 4 in the morning because it's such a good engine builder, such an amazing classic, and definitely one of my favorite games of all time. It's so good, and I never played any of the expansions, but that is definitely something that I want to in the future. A majority of you have played this game. I played this at 2, 3, and 4, but I was looking for games that played at a higher player count, 7, 8, and that's why I wanted to get 7 Wonders at Barnes & Noble. So this was the first purchase that I bought on my window shopping day. Window shopping. But if I were to backtrack a little bit, as I walked through the store, I saw this mini table by the escalator and it said 50% off all games. At that point, I didn't even go, like I said, I didn't even go for the sale specifically. I went because 7 Wonders was in stock, and that was the only store locally that had it. But as I passed by this 50% off table, I just happened to see a game that I have been mildly interested in, and that one is Lizard Wizard. So this one, Bonds was talking about actually on her stream the other day, how she picked this up from the Barnes & Noble sale, and I saw this too. I have been looking for a mage-themed game. A lot of you have recommended Lizard Wizard as well. The last time I made a video all about asking about mage-themed games, and this was definitely among those that were highly, highly recommended. So I'm glad to get this 50% off, and I had a even more reason to buy this. To be honest, I am not a fan of the artwork at all. I think it's just a little ancient and dreary for me, but it does look really fun, and I love the whole school of magic, and there's a whole bunch of different magic themed things going on, and I love how you can specialize in different schools of magic, which is my biggest reason why I got this game. Every game that I got today, I've been interested in for some time, but I just never had a reason to pull the trigger until the sale came on. So those 2 games were the only games that I had in hand, and I couldn't find, like the Barnes & Noble that we're at, the board games are scattered all over the place. There were like 4 or 5 different sections of board games, and I didn't look purposefully because I didn't want to purchase any more games. But then we went towards like the main line, and as I was walking towards the main line, I found like the main board game section, and that's when Jackie was like, "Oh my god, look, they have Villainous for 50% off as well." And these are 2 expansions that we don't have either. Well, they're not really expansions since you can play them like on their own. But these are 2 versions of Villainous that we don't have yet, and that is the one with the Evil Queen and Hades and Dr. Facilier, aka this one, and also the one with Scar, Uzma. I think it's Uzma. I forget. I totally watched that cartoon back in the day. I think it's Uzma, and Ratigan, which I have no idea. I have no idea where Ratigan's from, but Scar, everyone knows Scar. Come on, Lion King. So this is the reason why we picked up these 2 at the main shelves, because we're missing this in the collection of Villainous that I have so far. I love Villainous. My whole family loves Villainous, maybe minus the Marvel Villainous because that one's kind of all over the place. And the only one I'm missing left is the Star Wars Villainous that Sam covered recently as well. So that one will be the last Villainous set to get in order for us to complete the collection. Now I'm holding 4 games in line, and Jackie holds a bunch of different puzzles, and she also got a bunch of different Pokemon Legos too. But as we were in line, I picked up 2 more games. This next one is because apparently Azul Chocolatier is not enough for Jackie, and she said this one also is something that she wants to own because it's super pretty. She's rarely ever like, I really want this game, and I'm also very gullible too when it comes to games. I'm very weak. So this next one is Azul, the base copy. Azul, the base copy. Now this one we played in Portland at Mox's boarding house, Mox's boarding games, Mox's game store. And this is the game that we played kind of as we were waiting between different plans we had. We just hiked like a waterfall and we were waiting for dinner. So we stopped by a board game store that they had there, a board game chain actually. And Azul was one of the games that we played. I think this is 1 out of 2 tile placement games that we have. The other one is Tang Garden. Usually we're not big on tile placement games, but Azul is really, really fun. And the classic version is a classic. And aside from the Chocolatier version that we have as well. But the other one that we had was Tang Garden. I love Tang Garden too. That one's really, really pretty. I love the landscape in that game. And lastly, as we were on our final stretch to the cashier, there was one more game, bright and yellow, that stood out. And that game was Munchkin, the SpongeBob SquarePants edition. Look, I'm 31. However, I love SpongeBob, okay? He has been my favorite cartoon of all time. This is like a classic childhood cartoon that I've grown to love, and I still laugh at a bunch of the episodes today. Like, honestly, who doesn't love SpongeBob? And Munchkin, the first time I played Munchkin actually was for the very first ever lifestyle shoot that we did. So since I was introduced to that game during that photo shoot, really loved it, loved the dungeon crawler. And now that I saw that they had a Munchkin version with SpongeBob, also half off, I was like, why not? I actually took it and like put it on my board game stack, and then I put it away. And then Jackie saw it and she was like, it's half off, let's get it now. And I was like, okay, fine. And she put it back on my stack. And this was the final purchase that we had for that day. So if any of you made some on the whim purchases at Barnes & Noble or any other, gaming store in the past couple of days during these holiday sales, during the Christmas and the New Year sales, pre-New Year sales, let me know what you got in the comments below, because I would love to know what else we all splurged on together, because it's just fun to see what everyone got, It's just fun. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me on yet another post-culling, shelf-filling day of buying games. So with that said, I'll see you all in the next one.